subtracted on the end. So it's y equals 2. That's how we write an asymptote. Y equals, the horizontal is always y equals. Because the constant term in g of x is 2. So basically because we've added 2 on the end. Now graph the function, and then go to the right, and then we'll identify the domain and the range. Amazing how none of that stuff goes away. I'm sorry. It just doesn't. All right. So we have horizontal asymptote is at 2. And then we're going to graph these points. You can go ahead and just graph those points. 7 over 4 is 1 3/4. 3 over 2 is 1 1/2. You just kind of estimate it. Okay, would you call this growth or decay? Decay, because we can see in the picture that as I go from left to right, the graph is going down. So it's decay. One of the things that we learned on the lessons that were taught over the snowpocalypse was that if you had 2 reflections, oh, no, this one only has 1, so I'll do it that way. If you have 1 reflection, which this one only had an x-axis reflection, and if the number, in this case it was a 2, was bigger than 1, it's either between 0 and 1 or bigger than 1. And if it's bigger than 1 and there's 1 reflection, then it was decay, which is what it is. Okay, domain and range. Domain is you're looking at x and you're thinking, is there anything I can't plug in for x? Or you're looking at the picture, it's going across forever. So it's negative infinity to infinity. We don't have an issue with domain on exponential functions. The issue comes in with range because these have horizontal asymptotes, not vertical asymptotes. So what's the lowest, when you're going up and down, what's the lowest this graph can be? Negative infinity. And the highest? 2. Does it include the 2? No, because that's an asymptote. It's not supposed to touch 2, so I would use open parentheses. So there's your range. Not too bad. See more. Okay. So we're going to do some more. For each of the following, we're going to state the reflections and shifts and state the changes that would be made to the coordinates. Make a table for the values of each, then state the domain and range. So we're basically doing everything we did here, only, we're just doing it without step by step. And there's several of these. Good. Okay, so first off, do we have any reflections? Yes, and how do you know? What gives it a reflection?
It's negative from the x
Yeah, whoa, it's a little large. Yeah, right there. That little negative. That means that there's a reflection. Now, there's not one in front of the 2. So this one has a reflection how? Yeah. Or we call that, how do we call it? We use x-axis reflection, so we could say y-axis reflection. So I only have one reflection. Then what about shifts? There's 2 of those. Give me one of them. Yeah. This one, this -3. Ooh, I don't know why I used yellow, because I'm not going to be able to write yellow. I'm going to use green. So that x -3, when it's with the x, that means it's shifting left or right. And it's always the opposite of what that sign is. Or you can just take x -3 equals 0, which means x equals 3. So it shifts right 3. Somebody else give me the other shift.
Shift down 2.
Yep. This one right here is a -2. So with that one, we just take it at face value. Shifts down 2. So if we started off with f of x, which is 2 to the x, so that's just a regular old x and y, and we're changing it to h of x, reflection across the y-axis. Which coordinate is that going to change? You can look back at your list. If we look up here, if it's shifted across the y-axis, then notice it's the x coordinate that changes. Y-axis reflection, x coordinate changes because it flips this way. So x coordinate, bigger, that's a -x. It shifts right 3. So what's that going to change? Plus 3 on what? On the x. Because x is left or right. And then shifts down 2. What's that going to do? Y -2. Now, we're going to do our points. We originally had the points -2 and 1/4, -1 and 1/2, 0 and 1, 1 and 2, and 2 and 4. So we're going to plug the x coordinate into the x here, and the y coordinate into the y. So negative 2, but it's supposed to change the sign, so it's positive 2 plus 3. So that's 5. And then 1/4 minus 2, remember that's 8/4. So it's negative 7/4, or negative 1 3/4. Same thing. Just that's easier to graph. See if you can fill out the rest of them. I believe the bell's going to ring soon. I want you to fill out the rest of these, and we'll make sure you got them right tomorrow. Now, if you haven't watched some of the videos or finished any of the homework or whatever, be working on that. So that you can ask questions tomorrow if you need to. Or you at home can email me questions.